all posted on your Facebook page about the girls drowning. Why did you feel you needed to address it again?
Well, because the extensive, unfortunate, just misinformation that's going on out there by a number of people with this false narrative, which is just nonsense. And so, when we put out those media packets, is that you all were provided with all of the video. But unfortunately, some media outlets only played one portion of one video of one deputy who happened to be on a perimeter, and it's very misleading. And some media outlets, in their captions, in their narratives, said that this calls into question, and people are calling into question whether the deputies went in the pond. And that's just wrong, because that was one deputy who was on a perimeter, who he never said was a deputy that went in the water, and there was probably well over 15 deputies out there. And people are saying, and then you've got some really irresponsible people who are writing articles and putting them all over social media, and Facebook's blowing up with it, saying that I lied and that we are not telling the truth about the deputies that went in. And the packet that we have has information in it, in reports that were written by the deputies who took their gun belts off, took their clothes off, and went in the water. Those deputies aren't lying, and they're in the investigative reports that you all got. If anybody take a chance to read them, they'd see that they're there. And then you got video on there that shows those same deputies walking around without their gun belts on, without their clothes on. And deputies don't just take their clothes off for any reason in the middle of the night at 4 o'clock in the morning. They take their clothes off because they went in the water trying to rescue those girls. So what's being promulgated out there is a false narrative and a flat-out lie. And we put that out there because there was so much of it being said to take that snippet and show there is video, if people care to look for it and watch it, that supports what we said. I don't think we need the video. If we've come to a point in this world where unless it's on video, it didn't happen, then that's sad. But to the extent that the video confirms what we said, that's why we put it out there.
Now that video, I've read some of the comments. Some of the people were saying, well, the deputies, they were kind of walking by all relaxed. They didn't look wet. They didn't look like they had been in the water.
I don't care what those people say. That's a bunch of nonsense, and they need to stop it because it's a bunch of junk. Those deputies went in that water, tried to save those girls, and at their own peril. But when they go into that water and it's all sludge and they're up to their knees and they get entangled in weeds and everything else, they don't need to die over it, and they made a decision. One of the deputies that went in is on our dive team. He's trained in that, and he made a decision. It's too dangerous for me to go out there. So I don't really care what they say. I really don't. They can make these bald, wild allegations all day long. Fact is, 3 girls, 14 and 15, 4 o'clock in the morning, in a stolen car, running from the police, and the 3 of them combined had 7 prior arrests for stealing cars in the last year. That's the problem we need to focus on. This isn't a problem with the sheriff's office. This isn't a problem with the police. This is a problem with those kids engaged in criminal conduct, running from the police. The police tried to go in the water and save their life, and they couldn't do it. And everybody who is saying these guys didn't do their jobs or were providing false information needs to stop that irresponsible rhetoric, because it's nonsense.
One quick question adding on to that. I know sometimes it seems you all take pictures just for evidence purposes. Is there anything showing deputies with maybe muddy clothing? Obviously, like you said,
No, why would we do that? Why would we do that? That's not evidence of anything. Why would we do that?
I believe that what we've seen on Facebook, just from reading some of the comments, you see people saying, well, like she mentioned, their clothing is still clean. Maybe they thought about going in but didn't. Is there anything that can prove without a doubt, these deputies, at least one went in that water?
Did you read their report?
I have not seen it yet.
Read their report. The deputies said they went in the water. They got tangled in the weeds. It was muddy. They sunk down, and they felt it was too dangerous to proceed. Read their report. Read the dive team logs that show there's 0 visibility, what the conditions were in the water. It's all there.
If someone like the attorneys for those girls wanted to challenge what was in the report and what was on the video, you basically are saying about what you guys said. That's the last straw, right?
I'm done with it. There's nothing, they can challenge all they want, and, you know, they're trying to in the media. They don't have any cause of action against us. They don't have a viable claim against us. They don't have anything other than this really irresponsible rhetoric and a false narrative that they decide to keep going. Why don't we worry about why these girls were doing what they were doing and try and prevent any other kids from going down that path? Let's focus on fixing the problem we have in Pinellas County with 2,800 stolen cars in a year and 1,500 of them coming out of the city of St. Petersburg. And all these kids, last Friday night, the Auto Theft Task Force in St. Petersburg, middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 5 kids, 13, 3 14-year-olds, and a 15-year-old. They're in a stolen car. They run from the police. Same story. They wreck. They get out, they run. K-9 chases them down. Those 5 kids, one of those girls, 14 years old, she got out of a DJJ residential program Friday afternoon on a weekend pass. Friday night she's out stealing cars, and between those 5 kids, 13, 3 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old, they had 63 prior arrests in the last 18 months. That's what we need to be talking about. And people need to stop saying that these deputies didn't do their job. These deputies did their job. That's a problem. Same night up in Clearwater, the same night, 4 kids in the city of Clearwater, stolen car, 14 and 15 years old. Between them, 25 prior arrests. Saturday night into Sunday morning this week, St. Petersburg, 15-year-old. In the last year, he's been arrested 15 times, 5 of them for auto theft. That's the problem.
So what's being done to combat it?
A lot of things are being done to combat it. The Auto Theft Task Force, and we're putting together an initiative to go out and deal with these kids, the highest recidivists, and we had meetings on it this week, and there's a lot of action being done by law enforcement, and as we put it together, we'll announce it at the right time. But we are working on it, and we're moving forward.